Hey guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here. Today we're in Sheffield at the Motor Point Arena. We're going to be speaking to Gord Baldwin and also Danny Meyers from the Sheffield Steelers following the game against the Panthers today. So one of the things that we'll be doing in this video is not only answering some of the questions that you guys have been sending us in by Twitter and also Facebook, but we'll also be asking some great ways for, as we're speaking to defensive players, for other defensive players like myself to be able to improve our game. So stay tuned and let's see how that goes. Hey guys, so I've got Gordon with me from the Sheffield Steelers. He's one of the defence guys. They've just had a massive victory against the Nottingham Panthers. So what we're going to be doing is just going through a couple of questions that I know some of you guys would love to ask him. And of course myself as a defence player, some of the questions that I'd like to ask to learn how I can become a better player. So Gordon, first off, massive congratulations on the win. Excellent game, definitely one of the best games that I've seen live. One of the things that I wanted to start with is just running through some of the questions that some of the guys have asked on Twitter. Is that alright?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So the first one that I've got over here is asking, in terms of the opponents that you've played, who's been the most sort of competitive or most difficult component to overcome in a ballpark?
Yeah, well, I think as a team-wise, I think Belfast and Nottingham have been the two best teams we've played this year. They're really deep. All their lines are really competitive and it's hard to play against. I think they play the game at a bit of a faster pace, so it's hard to play against. We've had trouble against Braehead this year. We're 0-2 against them, but I think we've had some bad bounces against them. So I definitely have to answer that question with Nottingham and Belfast.
Awesome. Definitely two competitive teams. And one of the other questions that we've had as well is, in terms of the sort of best way to improve the awareness and also the competitiveness of hockey in the UK, what could you sort of comment on that?
I think it has risen a lot. Like, it's gotten a lot more popular from what I've heard from the past few years, what I knew from about it, say 5 years ago, to what I know last year and to what I know now. And I think, you know, from what you guys do and what guys like Simsy do, they really promote the game, and I think they have to get it out there, and people just have to experience hockey. They have to come to games like tonight and understand how fast the game is and what the players are doing, and experience the atmosphere of the fans and the crowd, because tonight it was electric and it was
incredible.
It would be an amazing experience, I'm sure, as a fan and as a player. It's great.
Definitely. It would be one of those things I'm watching and I'm wishing I could get out on the ice. Not that I'd be able to do anything against you guys, but it'd be incredible just to see what I can't imagine what it's like playing with that amount of people watching you.
Yeah, well, it excites you and it makes you want to play hockey. It makes you want to come back and watch again. So when you watch a good show like that, it's almost addictive. So when we can do something proper like that and do it exciting and influence people like that, I think slowly but surely the game of hockey will grow.
Definitely. And another thing, this is probably a bit of a tricky question, but in terms of being from Canada, what's the sort of level of hockey like? Obviously, I don't want you to touch on things that might be a bit dodgy, but is there a way is it comparable at all by Canadian standards in the UK?
Absolutely, it is. I knew coming over that this was a good league. There was good players here, and you look at, you know, some of the imports and the players who have played here, or the caliber of players. There's a lot of guys with NHL experience. I think between our team and even Nottingham, there was a guy on every line who's played in the NHL before. So it's hard to compare it or give an equivalence to a league back home, but all I can say is I'm very impressed with the quality of hockey here with with the GB players, the local players, and the imports. It's honestly exceeded everything I've expected.
That's great. That's surprising to hear. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It kind of sort of gives me a good understanding of where we are in the UK.
Yeah.
The next thing I wanted to move on to was, those are some of the questions that we have through Facebook, and on the Twitter page we've got a question that came in from Helen, who's asking, in terms of giving advice to junior players, what would be the best thing to sort of encourage them to play at a more significant level? What sort of advice could you give the Pee-wee players, which would be the equivalent here?
Yeah, well, I think most importantly at that age you have to have fun. You have to love the game and you have to want to be there. You can't, I've played with players who've kind of been forced into it and they never end up making it. So if you love the game and you play it, and there's a lot of good coaches out there, so you have to listen to what they say, you have to absorb what they say, and they'll get you that next level as long as you're willing to put in the time and the work, and you'll get there.
Perfect. That's awesome to hear. But I definitely can relate to that. You get those players that sort of mum and dad are forcing them to play. It's a case of the player needs to want to be there.
And I think you see it a lot more. I don't know about here now, but I've helped coach younger kids, and their parents try to be so influential on what they want to do, and it's not fair. I know when I was younger, I loved baseball, so I played baseball in the summers, and hockey I couldn't wait for it to start again because I had that off time, and my parents let me do what I wanted to do, and I think that's how it should be done, and I think parents are a little too much influential now.
Perfect. And another question that we have is in terms of people that are slightly older. So like myself, I'm 24 years old. If you're sort of that sort of age, but you think that you have the potential, you have the drive, and you're looking to get spotted, get noticed, to maybe step out of a league and maybe play semi-pro or pro, what would be the best tips in terms of being able to stand out and hopefully make a good draft?
The best, first thing on the top of my head is you just play as much as you can. You know, compete, play at a competitive level, and you know, kind of surround yourself with other players who are trying to do the same as you, and you know, they'll have ideas, you'll have ideas, and you know, you'll be playing better hockey and you'll want it more just from being around everyone. They have the same ideas, so you know, that's probably the best thing to do, is surround yourself with players and people who want to do the same thing as you.
Excellent. Been absolutely fantastic speaking to you. Once again, massive congratulations on the win that you guys had. Incredible game.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem at all. Hey guys, so I've got Danny Meyers with me, who's one of the Sheffield Steelers defensemen, and what I thought I'd do in this video is just ask some tips from a great defenseman to sort of give the rest of us advice on how we can play great D. So what are the main sort of aspects and tips that you can give a defenseman that's looking to aspire to play a high level of hockey?
Well, for me, it's about homework. I do my homework on the opposition forwards. You know, I like to scout the opposition forwards, so I like to know whether they're right-handed or left-handed. You'll find that some players, such as David Clark, is a good shooter, or you have a player such as Matt Ryan in Nottingham Panthers, who's more of an assist kind of guy. So it's important to do your homework and obviously see if they're right-handed or left-handed. But ultimately, whether you're an amateur or professional as a defenseman, you always want to keep yourself between the forward and the goal, and make sure that you always have a good gap. You don't want to give up too much space, because it gives them too much space to kind of stick handle and stuff like that. At the same time, you don't want to get too close, because if they're a fast skater, they're going to beat you to the net. So always try and keep a good gap. For me, it's a stick length. So if my stick can touch them, then I feel like I've got them in a good position. And then always staying between myself and the net. So you know, if they want to beat me wide, I'm able to push them out. If they want to come inside, then I'm able to step inside and keep them away from the centre of the goal there.
I see. Perfect. Great tips. And once again, I just wanted to congratulate you guys on the victory that you had. And lastly, also one of the other things that I had is, if you're sort of an older player, say in your early 20s, and you're looking to get noticed and you're maybe playing in some of the other minor leagues, what are some tips and advice that you can give those players to be able to stand out and hopefully sort of elevate the league that they're in?
Well, if you're a responsible player, then you're going to get ice time. It's the same as a forward as well as a defenseman. If you listen to your coaches and you're able to adapt to systems, and if you're reliable on the ice, then you're going to get more ice time. You see a number of players that have a good junior career, certainly as a forward, but they struggle to adapt to the professional ranks because they struggle to adapt to systems and also responsibility on the ice. If you don't give a goal away, you're going to get more ice time. If you score a goal and you give two away, you're not going to get more ice time. So it's as simple as that. So it's about learning systems, listening to your coach. As I'm sure you're aware, you're not going to get too many puck hogs into the professional level, whereas you do in the junior level. And you know, those players that you know, like the puck a lot of juniors, they're not going to be able to dangle around professional players, so they're going to have to learn how to play within a team, within a system, learn how to use their teammates. And you actually find, and certainly for me, when I was younger, there was a lot more talented players than I was, but I was able to learn to adapt to a system and to a team, and that's how I got my break. And lucky enough, it's kind of gone upwards and upwards from there.
Perfect. Can I quickly just ask, like a sort of a bullet point of a breakup of your development in terms of going from playing minor when you were much younger to get into the pro?
Well, when I first started, I was 4 years old. I was the first player to register for the Bracknell junior development. I went to the first ever game. I went to the first ever Bees game, and a week later, my father found out they were doing a junior development, so I was the first ever kid to sign there. So it's a place that I hold very dear to my heart, and they, you know, lucky enough, they look after me well there as well. So at that time, I was 4 years old, and the youngest age group was under 12s. So hockey was just kind of starting out. So obviously played for quite a while at under 12 level. There was no under 10s or under 8s, so I had to learn pretty quick. Then obviously up to under 14s. When I was 13 years old, I moved from a very successful Bracknell team to Basingstoke because I just wanted to prove myself by myself. Really, I was part of a very good team. I just felt that I needed to progress a little bit further and kind of take more responsibility in my own game. So I moved to Basingstoke when I was 13, and then when I was 15, I started training with the Bison at the time. And again, lucky enough, I was able to adapt to their systems, and by 16, I was signed professionally, and
Wow.
and playing regularly on the third line. And again, I didn't put up many points, but I was very responsible defensively. I was able to be reliable on the ice, and the coach kept playing me. And obviously, the more experience you get, the better you're going to get. Again, at 18. I felt I'd done everything I could at Basingstoke, a very successful team as well, but again I wanted to prove myself on a lower team, get more ice time. So moved to Milton Keynes, played 2 seasons there, and then came back to Bracknell. So I was able to play for my hometown team, which was pretty special for me to play there. Played 3 seasons there, moved up to Nottingham, was there for 2 seasons, became captain, was captain for 4 seasons. And then eventually made the move over to the Steelers and been here the last 2 years. So it's been great, and obviously with the Great Britain internationals along the way as well, it's something that I'm very humbled by it all. It keeps me humble, it keeps me honest, it keeps me continuing to work very hard, and it's been an enjoyable experience, and hopefully it continue.
Sounds like an excellent journey.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's a lot of injuries along the way, a lot of hard work, a lot of ups, a lot of lows, a lot of disappointments. A lot of championships and highs. It's just kind of keeping that level, that mid-level, never too high, never too low. And like tonight, we have a great one against Nottingham, but then we go to their rink 24 hours later, and things turn around pretty quickly. So, it's nice to get the win tonight, but we've got to beat them tomorrow as well. So it's never-ending hockey, but that's a great thing that you're always striving to get better.
That's excellent. I wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow, and I hope things go great.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem.
Hi, I'm Danny Meyers of the Sheffield Steelers and the Great Britain Ice Hockey team. For all your advice and tips on everything ice hockey, go to hockeytutorial.com.
I'm Gord Baldwin of the Sheffield Steelers, and for great tips on hockey and skating, check out hockeytutorials.com.